Especially after the surprising growth of ChatGPT, two things come to our mind: the explosive and exponential growth of artificial intelligence, how it is affecting our life. Same time, we were thinking whether it will be a threat to our survival. Mostly, it is going to replace a lot of jobs, and naturally, it will create some new jobs as well. So, that two concerns about the growth of AI and the survival of humankind or ourselves. That two things is attended by our book today, Co-Intelligence. Before I start any further, while I was making a notes for this book, I just come across to a news. I'll try to play that, a short form of that, to give you a context of this. I'll join you after the news.
What does it take to become a government spokesperson? If you're in Ukraine, you don't even have to be human. Welcome to the future. We would like you to meet Victoria.
Шановні представники ЗМІ та громадськості, вітаю вас.
My name is Victoria Shi. I was created by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine with the use of AI technology in order to quickly and efficiently inform you about consular issues. I'm a digital person, meaning the text you hear has not been read by a real person. Artificial intelligence did it.
Like British singer FKA Twigs. So Twigs is creating a deep fake of herself. This will be an AI generated image. It will look like the singer. It will be trained in her personality. It will have her voice and tone of speaking. Is this what the future looks like? They say that AI may never replace humans if we learn to do one thing: master the art of delegation. Simply put, this means figuring out what we need to do ourselves and what is best left to machines.
So, to understand which all the jobs will be affected by artificial intelligence, please stay with us. At the end of our summary, we will go through multiple sectors and analyze it, how it will be impacted. Understanding about co-intelligence, especially the large language model. One example is ChatGPT. The transformative power is actually surprises, as I mentioned. Especially, it is somehow similar to any other innovation happen in our industry. Like we have incandescent bulb, we have steam engine, we have internet. Lot of things was innovation at some point in time, then it transformed. But it took some time to grow. But what is special for artificial intelligence is that the growth is so exponential compared to any other things. Even 100 million users for ChatGPT just come in a very short span of time. And nowadays itself, most of the things, even the video which I try to make for you now, this video, I was trying to search for some music and I just have no time. So just ask ChatGPT, can you suggest some music? And I mentioned the app name which I am using. And surprisingly, it gave me 10 options with the composer name. So that is where we are living today. We are somehow living in the future, and what we live is we are just on the start of that. So understanding it, understand the potential of what our artificial intelligence can do, will better adapt and we can thrive as human. So most of the things what we feel like human capabilities, we were having calculators, computers, then we have robotics, we have machine learning, lot of things. But all those times we are thinking that some realm of us, like creativity, intuition, and lot of such things, were our own monopoly. But it looked like that's not the case. AI is everywhere. AI can be a teacher, AI can be a coach, AI can be a lot of things. So let's get started. Chapter 1, Creating Alien Minds. So since the advent of history, we were always be passionate to have some machines which can think. Even it is from the 18th century mechanical Turk to 1950s when Alan Turing was working on the imitation machines. That was all the intentions what we have. It got some boom in 2010 when we are having like somehow some level of machine learning and big data. That was a big thing that time. Even Amazon was using that to just change using the robotics and all these things. So we thought that that is what the future looked like. Then at some point in time, that came the large language model and GPT, especially generative pre-transformer. It is able to just behave more like a human. How it do it is by pre-training and fine-tuning. they were allowing the GPT or pre-transformer to have access to a wide range of data sets, and that way it will learn and will understand its context and try to be like a predictive machine. And more than a text capabilities, if you only know GPT, then you think that that is ending in a text realm, but actually no. From that realm, it is changing it to image processing. You see how Gemini is doing now and what future will look like. And all these things is making the things boundless. What AI can do is unimaginable now. Chapter 2, aligning with the alien. So in 2010, that time, artificial intelligence label was poor. It was not having that much marketing publicity or something. Like it somehow believed like it's more like it is something which can generate a predictive forecast based on some existing data. It was somewhere there. Since that time, for example, if you look at the company Nvidia, it was started in 2010. It was heavily investing on artificial intelligence. But that time their stock price was very low. But now if you look at it, it's one of the most valuable company, almost close to $1 trillion. Its net worth is there because of the change in the understanding. So where actually that leap happened is when there was a publication paper by Google where it mentioned that attention is all what it's need. That's something like a more revolutionizing the large language model. Attending something like similar to your brain, attending something, it can capture that context. So if you're able to attend or give more context or try the able to make the artificial intelligence understand what is important, it can predict more better. Like for example, if you are trying to working on a film, then if you understand that context, it can better predict what you are trying to write as a script. Instead, if you are preparing for a lecture tomorrow, if you understand it context, so attention is what it is needed. Attention to what the entry query is coming and attending to it based on the fine-tuning and pre-training it has. That's what revolutionized GPT or generative pre-trained transformed. Chapter 3, 4 rules of co-intelligence. So as we understand already what artificial intelligence can do, how we can be a better coexist with artificial intelligence. There are 4 rules which book is proposing. First one is that invite AI always to the table. So that's something like, even though you are doing a lot of things now yourself, try to just incorporate AI into the work, even though it has legal and ethical barrier. For example, whatever work you are doing, try to understand it and try to experiment with it. What it can do, based on that, you can understand its strength and limitation, and you can adapt your work based on that. Principle 2, be the human in the loop. So try to be the human part. Like there are some incidents where some lawyers use ChatGPT to create some case notes and all, and they go to the court and they got stuck because it is more like a predictive machine. It is not able to understand whether it is right or wrong, and that case was not in a favor of that lawyer. So the point is that be active be human in the loop and be a control in that loop. That way you can understand and you can somehow make sure that AI is working together, or they are not working against, or it is not working on itself. That's the point. Be the human in the loop. Principle 3, treat AI like a person. Okay, you know about Alexa, Siri and all. Okay, that's somehow our earlier form of artificial intelligence. But now, I don't know how many of you tried to just put some persona to your ChatGPT. Like before you chatting, don't treat it same like Google. Tell ChatGPT, you are Bill Gates. Then it will start to respond to you like Bill Gates. Example I'm telling. Tell him you are the expert code writer or script writer. It will try to create codes in that way. So try to behave some context, create some AI persona, and also make sure that persona will have a proper context and understanding. That way you can make use of that artificial intelligence as much as possible. And it will be more like your co-worker or your co-intelligence. Principle 4, assume that the AI you have now, this is the worst you will use. Anyway, it is going to get improved. So try starting using it, but prepare for the advancement. Try to understand its limitation and try to incorporate in your life and society. It seemed like calculator. When we were having calculators in that time, people think that you don't have to study about mathematics. But even after these many years, still there is multiplication table in the syllabus. So that's not going to change much. But try to understand and try to think that what you use now as an artificial intelligence, this is the worst one or the very initial version of what you're going to get. Chapter 4, treat AI as a person. Okay, when you try to understand what artificial intelligence is, mostly you will think that something like a software. It is actually not. Because software is, yes, made by codes. Even ChatGPT is made by 10,000 NVIDIA chips and all, and with all the codes and all. But it doesn't behave like a software. Software will have a predefined behavior. It is consistent, it is reliable, and it will stay as it is. But unlike that, AI, it is not predictable. It can predict us, and it sometimes even hallucinate and something behave like a human behavior. Sir, just imagine a teacher is asking a question to a student in the class. If the student don't know the answer, he will try to make a wild guess. So that is actually a human behavior. And most of the time, when ChatGPT don't know the answer, it tried to hallucinate. So it's more like a human-like behavior it's doing. And most of the things, like as I mentioned, like most of the things what we created, because software is going to execute what it has been predefined and all. But here, like human beings, we have studied a lot of things, and using that we are going to create some artifacts, some drawings or some economical analysis and all. Same way, AI is able to do it, but still it has its limitation. We cannot somehow give some consciousness or sentience to an AI so far, even though somebody is already proposing such things and all. If you come across our earlier book, Coming Wave and all. But the future, like there is something called anthropomorphizing, like that. Like, so that simply means that we are trying to give a human behavior to something which is not human. But actually, when you treat AI as a person, something different will happen. Is that it is no more going to be an alien, first of all. Second thing, that makes your interaction with that alien easier. Like another way put it, like for my personal context, I'll tell you, because I'm an electronics engineer, I try to just see a electronic equipment as something as a live thing. So I even think that, okay, charging is something like you're giving its food to him. So such things. So such level of behavior actually will enhance my interaction with that electronic device, whatever it is. At the same time, it will have a longer lifespan. So same way, treat AI like a person. So that way, you can better adapt and be co-intelligent with it. Chapter 5, AI as a creative entity or a creative person. So as I mentioned, creativity is something considered as something which human can only do, not the machines can do, but it's different now. Let us take multiple examples of creativity, like say writing a book, like even Ethan Mollick, he was involving AI to create this book and all. So writing, naturally, it is almost in control of AI already. Then especially like software programmers, all those works, which has been thinking like memorizing lot of codes and then generating such things, that creativity can be now given to AI. It can do it. So it can somehow do the same. And artistic expressions, for example, art is something which considered as an unconquered boundary of human expression, but it looked like none of the art is original. It has some level of inspiration and influence. So all this vast amount of heritage, vast amount of data, like for example, a professional artist and a normal, the main difference is that the amount of exposure he has to that level of art and lot of things. But now a novice artist can become equivalent to a professional artist by depending on AI, because it is going to solve that missing part of that novice artist. So art is going to boom out of that. So a lot of such things will happen. And also, one important thing is that most of the people is not using AI as a complementary. Most of the time they are substituting it. That's another important. But for example, like if I'm trying to make a thumbnail out of for my YouTube things, AI can now just advise me a thumbnail. That actually make easy things. So that saves a lot of time. But if I'm not putting any thinking on it, then I'm just publishing as it is. Then I'm not complementing it. I'm just substituting it. That thumbnail may not be appropriate for the audience. At the same time, these are all the things that creativity it can do. But at the same time, AI will miss, because as I mentioned, AI is simply a predictive algorithm. Even though it has a vast amount of large data, it can, but human mind and human brain, it's still an unfathomable human machines which we don't even understand completely now. So the point is that critical thinking and reflection, it still lacks. AI cannot do it, but co-intelligent, you can supersede that. And also some level of quality thinking, because if you get all the things now, previously we have to Google it, we just get the 5 hits, then we filter from that, then we try to understand that. But now we are not doing that. So that way, that thinking, that initial thinking and quality thinking is missing. Chapter 6, AI as a co-worker. So almost most of the jobs what we have, it's somehow having that interference by AI. Even the highly compensated, highly educated and creative profession, AI is now interfering. And even at the same time, naturally, you know that telemarketing and other things is already impacted. If you see the chat boards and all, you know where I'm going. So when AI is coming, you can work with AI as 3-way. First, just me task, like whatever you can only do. Second thing is the delegated task, where you can delegate something to AI. And third one is only what AI can do. That is something like Centaur. Centaur is something like where there is a clear division between what an AI will do and what a human will do. But in another way, Cyborg is another option where human and AI will collaborate and together. So with the advent of AI, during that time, actually many companies like Apple, I'm not sure it's IBM, or many companies was restricting employees to use AI in the office. But now if you see the upcoming event of Apple, they are announcing that AI is one of the most sought after feature in their new upcoming iPhone. So that's where we are standing. So somehow it is going to change the way we work, and the work market, the workers, the skills, everything will change. One way it will increase the productivity of lot of people. In another way, it will change lot of jobs and it will create lot of jobs as well. So the whole scenario will change. Chapter 7, AI as a tutor, as a teacher. As I mentioned, a teacher or a professor, his core competence is that grasping or digesting that much amount of information and knowledge and then putting it back or transferring back to the students. But now, this is what GPT is doing. Simply put, large language model is doing. So homework apocalypse, that's what author is trying to tell, is like, for example, homework assignments and all, which usually during my college time and all, I was somehow trying to get inspired from my friend or something, because most of the time we're running out of assignment. We try to copy from my friend or whoever. We're not generating that original thing. But now that whole thing can be done by a generative pre-transformer or general purpose technology in another way. So that's where we are standing in terms of that things. And also that knowledge thing, that learning or the tutor, that relevance of a teacher is going to change. Now you don't really need everything a teacher. You don't have to have an access to a library to know something. You can ask artificial intelligence. So that way the learning, that educational system is going to change, and two things will happen. One way is that it will allow to have two levels of learning, where passive learning, where students can interact with AI and get that passive learning. And the real human teachers can be focused on the active learning. So that the educational system will have more improvement as well. Also nowadays, people are not having access to a lot of education. Educational system is having too much ups and downs now. That barriers will be broken by artificial intelligence. Everybody will have access to that quality education. There is no limit to the educational system. That way, it will one way make education to a lot of people. In another way, it will have its own struggle to focus on what. So attention is all what is needed. That same thing will now, AI will tell to the human being, okay, you have access to all this vast amount of knowledge. Attention is what you need to access me as a tutor. Chapter 8, AI as a coach. When you learn biographies of Benjamin Franklin, Michael Faraday and all of these people actually gain their expertise using apprenticeship. Or nowadays, if you think, it's more like an internship, trainee, lot of things. But with the advent of AI, because if you think like a manager or a company person or someone like that, even myself, if I think like that, there is lot of efforts in generating an employee, even though he got some very great degrees and flying colors and all these marks and all, there is some efforts required to make him adaptable to that work. That amount of work may be 1 year, 2 year, even you see like Infosys have campuses and all, there a lot of companies have such campuses teaching even the graduates to go through such training to make them adaptable to the work. So with the advent of AI, people think that, okay, why should I spend this much time in training such a novice? Instead, why don't I rely on AI? Another thing is that level of training, like lot of things which is necessary to be hands-on, like for example, surgery and lot of things, carpentry and lot of things, that now with the advent of AI, that training, that importance of hands-on training, that relevance is going to change now. And even the knowledge acquisition. Previously, memorizing something or understanding too much knowledge is something like an important adventure or important things to match, important thing as a coach or something. But now that's not going to be more important because everybody have access to unlimited amount of data and data sets, and it can be just taken out in seconds. And also expertise. Now we have a lot of people, okay, he's expert in networking, that man is expert in programming, the teaching, a lot of things. Such expertise is going to change now because that is going to coexist with AI. How much this person expertise can coexist with AI, that is going to be the new way of expertise thinking. And also another way, AI is going to change the skill level. Okay, some people who is very expert in managing AI or working with, they are going to be more sought after than somebody who is very expert in programming. Those generations is going to flip now. Who can work best with that machine or best work with that intelligence? That is going to be the most sought after people from now on. So that way, that coaching, that training, all those things, what we were doing on all the centuries so far is going to change with the revolution and evolution of artificial intelligence. So chapter 9, AI as our future. So considering the future, it can have 4 possible scenarios. One is that AI will have a very slow progress as it good gets, which is naturally not going to happen. But in that way, we will be more able to better understand AI and adapt and all. But second thing is slow growth. The slow growth also, we will be able to better change all of our work, life, education, lot of things to that slow growth of that AI. In the exponential growth, if that is going to happen, then we will have a big trouble. Somehow, there is a lot of hacking, misinformation. We will have some level of struggle to coexist with artificial intelligence. And fourth one, machine God. That is something where a super intelligent thing, like for example, say an AI, you assign AI to create a paper clip. And by creating a paper clip, It tried to make its own thinking and expertise to make how to make better paperclip, how to make it in more volume, how to market it more, and somehow it is going to do it more and more, and it become like a super intelligent god or something like that. That's the worst scenario. This is the four contrasting way AI is going to be in the society. But in any other possibilities also, we have to still think about co-intelligence and coexisting with artificial intelligence. Finally, from our side, a quick analysis. What are the jobs which are going to be affected by artificial intelligence? We'll go through some scenarios for our basic understanding. So first one, like say manual labor or something like a normal labor and assembly line and such manufacturing and all. Mostly now itself, it is already changing to machines and all. And that's going to be completely replaced by AI with robotics and such things as well. So that's going to change. Then admin and accounting and such partially cognitive involvement task also will somehow be partially or completely be replaced by AI as well. So most of the things, okay, you are trying to look at all of your trial balance and all these things to create a report. Maybe AI is already thinking in the background, it will give in a one click, and also that jobs or such jobs, admin and accounting jobs is going to change or be being mostly affected by AI. Third one, transportation and delivery. Okay, now also you know that with the advent of autonomous car and all, things are already changing. But now also you see like drones can deliver, a lot of things will change. And now the driver or a truck driver or such jobs are become a jobs now, which is being going to be replaced by autonomous cars or drones and also, which will be partially wiped out by AI. Then customer service, such job, customer service, telemarketing. Now itself, if you call to a customer, sir, most of the calls being attended by automatic AI bots and all. So that's going to be completely changed by AI can take out all this automation with AI. That jobs also will be completely take over by AI. And when I am telling that completely take over, it doesn't mean that all what is existing now it is going to be take over. Still, there is a human involvement required, which will be on a highly sophisticated and a quality level. So the interaction will be different. That's what I'm telling. It doesn't mean that you will be completely wiped out, but that jobs will be taken care by AI. So now we have think about retail sector. Now itself we have automatic checkout where you can check out without using a cashier or somebody. It's already there. So that is going to be completely automated in the whole retail chain will be automated using AI. So very less human involvement will be further required. And financial services, like you think nowadays people are taking money as someone who is predicting the stock market and all these things. That trading, finances, insurance, banking, all those jobs, which is based on a lot of predicting and forecasting and all of these things. Another smart guy is already in the other room, AI. He can do it better than most of those people. So that way, and also another thing is that AI will be not affected by a lot of cognitive biases. If you follow our last book, we are affected by a lot of cognitive biases, but AI doesn't have its own biases. Even though it hallucinates a lot of things, it doesn't have the biases and emotional struggles what we have. And of course, healthcare, it will be affected, but a lot of the small level jobs like radiologists, lab technicians, all those jobs will be heavily impacted with the advent of AI. So that way it will change that position. And another thing is legal or lawyers and such jobs. Now they are relying on their education about law and such thing by learning like a big chunks of books and all those law jobs will be heavily affected by artificial intelligence as well. And finally, education and training. Even though we discuss all of this, the whole education system, the way we studied and what is important in the education system is also going to change the advent of AI. That's all the conclusion or the points we have on the book. Until we come across with the next book. Thank you. Bye for now.